Hey Canucks fans, welcome to Clay's Canucks commentary for Monday, October the 22nd. I'm Clay Emo at Canuck Clay on Twitter. I'm at Clayton Emo on Instagram, and this is my Canucks take, all in one take. It is game day. Tonight the Vancouver Canucks host the defending Stanley Cup champion, Washington Capitals at Rogers Arena. I'll be bringing my eldest son Sean to the game. He's at Canuck_Sean if you want to follow him on Twitter. And this is 2 days after bringing my lovely wife Gail to the game, a game that saw the Vancouver Canucks beat the Boston Bruins 2-1 in overtime. With that victory, the Canucks are 5-3 on the season for 10 points in 8 games. And extrapolated, that's 102.5 points, 103 points for the season. Obviously, the Canucks aren't going to get there, but we are now 10% of the season in with 8 games down. As I keep saying, we're going to start saying, or we're going to stop saying, it's a small sample size, but it's still early in the season. But extrapolated, that's 103 points. I don't think they're going to get there, but I did put a poll up on Twitter yesterday saying, where do you think the Canucks, how many points do you think the Canucks will finish with during the season? Got many votes, almost 1,500 votes, a large part due to the Botchford bump. Jason Botchford liked that tweet for whatever reason. I think he made fun of me actually for asking me the question. But regardless, the Botchford bump helped in more respondents. And the majority is, I basically gave 4 choices: under 70 points, 70 to 79, 80 to 89, and then 90 and above. And the majority, 49% of you are saying they'll finish between 70 and 79 points. That's 49%. Obviously, half, that's basically 50%. Half of you are not persuaded or swayed by this fast start for the Canucks. Really interesting. I asked the same question. I think that's why Botchard was making fun of me. I asked the same question before the season started. At the start of October, I said, how many points will the Canucks get? And it's interesting how things have changed. At that time, 52% of people said under 70 points, between 60 and 69 points. So where the majority 3 weeks ago was under 70 points at 52%, now the majority has shifted upwards by one category. Now 49% of the people are saying between 70 and 79 points. So Canucks have 10 points in 8 games. Washington Capitals have 8 points in 7 games. They are 3-2-2. Not the best start ever, not the worst start ever. They're kind of in the middle. Stanley Cup hangover, who knows? But they are looking to get more consistency in their game after having some very erratic results. They are led by their big 4 up front, of course, Ovechkin, Oshie, Kuznetsov, and Markstrom. And add in their defenseman John Carlson, and you have the 5 guys who are playing at a point per game pace, scoring at a point per game pace. With big scoring comes, they have the highest goals for in the league on average. They've scored 29 goals in 7 games, good for 4.14 goals per game. That's huge. That's massive when you consider the Canucks are doing quite well offensively. They dried up a little bit recently, but they've been doing quite well offensively. And the Canucks, sitting in the top half of the league, have scored 3.13 goals per game, whereas Washington is a full goal more than that, at 4.14. So that's huge. However, Washington also gives up a lot of goals. They're, I think, 4th worst in the league at 3.86 or something. Canucks are way below that, again, in the middle of the league with the goals against. So Washington scores a lot of goals, but so far this season, they've also given up a lot of goals. With scoring a lot of goals becomes their power play. It's crazy. They're number 1 in the league. Their average is like 38 or 39%. So obviously, a key to the game would making sure that the Canucks do not spend too much time, more time than needed, in the penalty box. Canucks, when it comes to their special teams, middle of the pack, both in power play, penalty kill, a bit stronger than middle of the pack, but generally doing well to start off, but nothing close to that 39% of the Washington Capitals. So Washington Capitals, excited to see them play, obviously, as the defending Stanley Cup champions. And speaking of which, Jay Beagle, former Capitals, now injured Vancouver Canuck forward, he received a Stanley Cup ring today. I saw a tweet, saw a picture of it. It looks massive. It looks awesome. Happy for Beagle, obviously, and that's one of the reasons why the Canucks signed him, for that experience on a Stanley Cup winner and contender. Winner, of course. Actually, I've seen one Stanley Cup ring, just as an aside. I've seen one Stanley Cup ring in person. That was by LA color commentator Darryl Evans. So I think he's a former player, but he obviously got the ring recently, 2013 or 14. I think it's 13 whenever the Kings won the Cup. And I guess the broadcast team members got one too. So I got to meet him after a game through a mutual friend, and I saw his Stanley Cup ring, an LA Kings Stanley Cup ring, and it was massive. It was awesome. It looked really, really good. Of course, made me sad that the Canucks don't have one, but hey, we have time for that. So good on Jay Beagle for getting his, and it was a cool reminder that I've seen one Stanley Cup ring in person. Okay, let's talk about our team, the Vancouver Canucks. Surprisingly, Anders Nilsson is back in net. And I say that's surprising because Nilsson got 4 straight starts on the road to wind up the road trip. Did very well, went 3-1 in that. But Jacob Markstrom played really well. You can't really fault him on, well, it wasn't, yeah, I won't fault him completely on the one goal he let in. So you think that it was, Saturday night, it was a win at home, and he had a day of rest in between, an off day. I was expecting Jacob Markstrom to get the net and to be given the opportunity to establish some momentum like Nilsson was given the chance on the road. But surprisingly, at least to my surprise, Green has gone back to Nilsson, and I get why he went back to Nilsson from a Nilsson standpoint, is he played very well on the road trip. He's 3-1, and he doesn't want to let that momentum die, despite his last game being a loss. Yet at the same time, I'm surprised that he didn't give Jacob Markstrom more of an opportunity to establish his momentum, especially after a win against our best friend, the Boston Bruins. This sets up for an interesting, scenario going forward. We know that the Canucks have a quick 2-game road trip. Wednesday, they're in Vegas, and then back-to-back Thursday, the next night, they're in Arizona. So I'm guessing that Jacob Markstrom starts on Wednesday in Vegas, that Nilsson gets Thursday in Arizona, and then they are back on Saturday to host the Pittsburgh Penguins, and I'm guessing that's back to Markstrom, first game of the homestand at that time. So we shall see. Canucks fans, what do you think? Are you surprised that the Canucks are going back to Anders Nilsson for tonight? Aside from that, no other lineup changes. All the lineup rushes were the same as Saturday night. That means Leipzig and Delzato once again on the outside looking in. Up front, it's Bo Horvat between Brock Besser and Nikolai Goldobin. The second line is Adam Gaudette, Jake Virtanen, and Sven Barchi. The third line is Brandon Sutter, Antoine Roussel, and Louis Eriksson. And as I mentioned before, that I really like that line. And Sutter and Eriksson have played a lot together over the past 2 seasons. And our fourth line, once again, Marcus Granlund, Tim Schaller, Tyler Mott, Brendan Lysick, the extra forward. On D, you have Edler and Tanev. You have Goodbranson with Hutton, and then you have Stetcher and Pouliot. Those are your 3 pairings, and Michael Delzato, a healthy scratch once again. So again, the only lineup change is Jacob Markstrom out, Anders Nilsson in net. Lines and D pairings stay the same. Again, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Canucks have got off to a really good start. And I heard a really cool stat, actually, that last year the Canucks played the Washington Capitals, I think, in their 10th game of the season, and by beating them, they went to 6-3-1 on the season, or something like that. And then this year, they're playing the Washington Capitals on the 9th game of their season, and they have a chance to go to 6-3. So a very similar record. My point is, it's a very similar record to last year. At this point, the Washington Capitals always seem to come through. At least last year they did, around this time of the year, late October, and then we'll see if the Canucks are able to continue their strong play. This is about when the season started to fall off a little bit, start to get more injuries through November and then through December. But let's worry about that when we get to it. I'm excited to see the Capitals. I'm excited to see the Canucks. I'm excited to be with my son Sean. And I'm excited to be back in the arena just 2 nights after being there on Saturday night. Lastly, great news. Elias Pettersson skated with the team at practice, and it looks like they're going to bring him on the road trip, this road trip that I mentioned to Vegas and Arizona Wednesday, Thursday. We're not sure if he'll get into one of those 2 games. There's no point really saving him if he's not healthy. I mean, if he's healthy, there's no point saving him into a home game or whatever. So let's see what happens. Does he get in on Wednesday against Vegas? Does he get in Thursday against Arizona? Or will he just simply travel and practice with the team and start on Saturday when the Canucks host the Pittsburgh Penguins? My guess is he plays on the road trip. Otherwise, why would you bring him? Why would you bring him on the flight? The practice time, I guess that's a bit of a bonus, but how much are they going to be practicing? If they have a game back-to-back, they'll probably fly out on Tuesday or Wednesday morning even. So they may not even have a road practice. And I think about it, they'll probably practice Tuesday, tomorrow, a light skate, maybe at home, maybe not. And then Wednesday they're flying to Vegas for their game. They're playing again on Thursday, Arizona, and they're probably back from Arizona Thursday night or Friday morning to prepare for Saturday's game against Pittsburgh. So again, if Pettersson goes on the road trip, expect him to play on the road trip. I guess that's my point. Well, hey, Canucks fans, what do you think? Lots to talk about here, whether it's Jay Beagle's ring, whether it's the Washington Capitals and all their firepower coming to town. Who are you most excited to see? Is it still Ovechkin, or is it guys like Backstrom or Kuznetsov or Oshie or Karlsson? What do you think of Anders Nilsson going into net to replace Jacob Markstrom? I think that's the big talking point of the day. And also, what do you think of Elias Pettersson skating? I'm sure you're excited. When do you anticipate him getting into the Canucks lineup? Leave a comment below. I love to read, react, and reply as always. Subscribe if you'd like to. Like this video if you'd like to. And for those of you wondering about my next live stream, post-game live stream, I'm aiming for Thursday night, not Wednesday night, but Thursday night after the Canucks play their game against Arizona. It'll be a late one. It'll be like a 9:30 or 10 o'clock start. But hey, I'm a night owl, and I know many of you are as well. So enjoy the day, enjoy the beautiful weather. I'll check in with you, likely not tonight, but first thing tomorrow morning. But I'll be tweeting from the game, so give me a follow at Canuck Clay if you want to see some sights and sounds from tonight's game. Vancouver, Washington, Rogers Arena. Have a great day. God bless, and go Canucks go.